Good evening, good evening. So, first off, I want to apologize. I didn't go live. I'm saying I'm apologizing, but believe me, it's kind of no sweat off my butt. For not going live last night, man, I have spent 2 days, just pretty much non-stop editing, and I was feeling kind of rough yesterday anyway. I was just so tired all day, and I was sore, and so I nixed the show. Wanted to make sure to get in tonight, even though, a couple of things. I'm not really feeling it as far as feeling great, and I saw something today that pissed me off. And there's not a whole lot of things that will upset me that I can't just easily shake off. I mean, I let a lot of stuff roll off my back. I've got more patience than I will admit, and I've got more patience than I ever wanted. Because let's just say you don't want to ask the Father to show you patience, to teach you patience. That is not something any sane human being will do, I'll tell you that. Because that's one thing I wanted. I wanted more patience. And while I'm not always patient about everything, I'm a hell of a lot more patient and tolerant now than I ever have been in my life. But there are some things that will set me off. And this certainly did that. I've got a little short minute and 12-second video clip I'm going to show. Because I hear a lot of stuff, right? I mean, anytime Trump speaks, anytime Elon speaks, we get some new claims of Nazism or some kind of crazy nonsense out there. So anytime I hear anything like this, I just kind of roll my eyes, shrug my shoulders, and I always do my due diligence anyway. I will go and I will find the actual video or audio where the conversation or the statements were made, and I will listen for myself. And most every time, especially if Elon and Trump is involved, it's BS. It's things totally being taken out of context. It's, in many cases, things just being totally made up. Today, that wasn't the case. Not even close. And I'm going to play this video clip for you. Again, it's short. It's a minute and 12 seconds long. And oh, do I got some things to say afterwards. So, beyond that, I do have some pretty interesting news stories tonight. You want to make sure to stick around. We're talking about lead in baby food. We're talking about banks being deregulated even more. We're talking about more proof that the magnetosphere is weakening. And, I mean, some people say I got to see it to believe it. Well, I've been pointing it out. So, once again, I will be pointing it out. So, like I said, I'm going to play this short clip. And then, boy, do I got some commentary after that. So, hopefully I don't run people off in my commentary. I might. But, man, I'm not a happy camper. Not even a little bit. So, I saw somewhere today, and I don't even remember where I saw it at, that there was a claim that the Secretary of Commerce had made a statement, and that would be Howard Lutnick. And like I said, I didn't believe it at first. I really didn't believe it at first, because I was like, no, that's not what he said, or he was joking. I'm telling myself this, right? Because that's what I'm so much used to. No, it's dead on. The dude said it. I'm going to play the video. Like I said, I've got some things to say when it's over with.
Let's say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother-in-law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. Mm-hmm. She just wouldn't. She'd think something got messed up, and she'll get it next month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining. Mm. And if all the guys who did PayPal, like Elon knows this by heart, right? Anybody who's been in the payment system and the process system knows the easiest way to find the fraudster is to stop payments and listen.
Yeah.
Because whoever screams is the one stealing.
Yeah.
Because my mother-in-law's not calling. I mean, come on, your mother, 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds, they trust the government. They trust, okay, maybe it got screwed up, big deal. They're not going to call and scream at someone. But someone who's stealing always does. Yeah. So what happens is we need to get to, so the people who are getting that free money, stealing the money, inappropriately getting the money, have an inside person who's routing the money, they are going to yell and scream. But real America is going to be rewarded, because here's the key.
Benefit of the doubt.
Not.
So hopefully you caught that. Howard Lutnick's claim is that if his mother didn't get her Social Security, she wouldn't be upset. Maybe I'll get it next month. Now, I know a few people on Social Security, many of them retired individuals, and I also live with somebody that's on Social Security. Obviously, Jen was born with cerebral palsy. It's not something that's likely to go away. It is what it is. And I can tell you for a fact that every single person that I know on Social Security, and believe me, I'd have to put up my hands a minimum of a couple of times to count them all. Mostly retired. Every single one of them struggle. Especially right now with the cost of food so high. Every single one of them struggle. And they aren't out living the life. They're not out driving the fancy brand new car. They're not in some mansion. Not even close. What a month would do with them not getting their Social Security would destroy them. Plain and simple. They would have, many of them would have issues with housing, whether it would be because of rent or mortgage. Many of them that have car payments, bye-bye car. Just because Howard Lutnick's mother has just money to blow because she's got a billionaire son doesn't mean that that's representative of America. And I know a lot of those individuals that I mentioned that are on Social Security that would be livid. They would be calling and they would be raising hell because you're talking about their livelihood. Anybody can make all the BS stuff that they want. Oh, well, they should have had better plans in place. Knock it off. That was their plan. Social Security was their promise. That was their retirement. That was their guarantee. I honestly should be working on disability Social Security. But I'm stubborn. And I will sit there and try to make that round peg fit that square hole until I am just completely and utterly worn out. And then I don't know that I would give in then. I am not a fan. The government's never helped me. In fact, they've only done to hurt me. That's all they've ever done. I have not collected a day of unemployment in my 52 years of life. Not one single day. I applied for it once, 52 years. I applied for unemployment benefits once. And I'm going to tell you about that only so you understand. Also, I want to throw in, most Americans got 3 stimulus payments. I didn't get one. I didn't try to get one. I would have done anything I could have to gotten out of getting one. However, back years ago, I was doing pest control, and just bear with me. Bear with me a minute. I was doing pest control. Now, I get a letter in the mail from the court saying that they were going to suspend my driver's license, which I needed because I drove a company truck, because of child support. Now, mind you, I was 100% caught up on child support. 100%. I didn't know anything. They were taking it. I literally went home after a week's worth of work. I went home with $51 and some odd change. Yeah. And we're talking right around 2000, 1999, 2000. My take-home pay after they took theirs was $51 and some odd change. Yet there's supposed to be laws about the maximum amount that they can take out. Not in my case, apparently. So, I realized what this was about. But I took my paycheck stubs. I went to court. And I showed the judge. I said, look, I'm not in arrears at all. I'm caught up. It's coming out of my checks. My boss writes another check to you. And the judge said, I don't care. Now, you have to understand that this was retribution for prior court proceedings. Because I spent 2 years and thousands of dollars taking my son's grandmother to court, because that's the one I had to take to court. She was the legal guardian of my son. All because I wanted, and I've talked about this before, all because I wanted my son's mom's name taken off the child support checks. And the reason why is she did not have legal guardianship. She was showing up before her mom, my son's grandma, got off of work. And since the checks were in her name, she'd snatch the child support check right out of the mailbox and go cash it and go partying on it. Now, at this particular time, the most my son's seen his mother is maybe at Christmas when she showed up to get her gifts. That's about it. That's about it. And for some unknown reason, the grandmother fought me. Of course, her attorney fought me. And even the courts fought me. Well, I didn't give up. I kept pushing, and kept paying, and kept paying. I'm talking lawyer fees. And eventually, I won. What was I taking them to court? I just wanted the name on the child support check to be changed to his grandmother's name, the legal guardian, so that his mother could no longer steal his child support checks. That money was supposed to be going in support of my son, not his mother out partying. So that is the reason the court was getting retribution on me. when it came to my driver's license. They absolutely did not care that I absolutely was not in arrears. They didn't care that I had a letter signed from my boss stating that it was necessary for my job that I be able to drive. Judge didn't care. That's exactly what he told me. I don't care. So, I lost my job. Couldn't drive the truck. I lost my job. So I go to unemployment. Only time I had ever done it in my entire life. Filled it out, all of that. Well, then they got this stupid mediator thing to where they've got to talk with me and my former boss to get everything all going. So during this mediation call, I was literally sitting in my boss's office, my former boss's office, on his couch. I had a cell phone in my hand. He had his desk phone in his hand. We were right there. I heard everything that was said. And he told them, Mike deserves this. I want Mike to get this. Mike didn't do anything wrong. He's one of my best employees. I want Mike to get this. Denied. They denied me. So understand, I don't look for the government's help. And at this point, I don't expect it. But when some jackass billionaire wants to write off thousands upon thousands of retirees and disabled people that can barely make ends meet, and say that they're fraudsters if they would call and raise hell because they can't pay their rent, they can't pay their power, I've got issues there. I have got very serious issues there. And I'm not on anything. I'm raising hell. How am I being a fraudster? I'm not even on it. We gotta get this guy out. Anybody that's that far out of touch with the American people and that would make claims like that to the American people is not an American. They need to ship his ass off to the UK or something like that. I think it would fit better in over there. Sorry, UK. I don't know, North Korea. We could send him to North Korea. He'd probably fit in pretty good there, too. That's insane. There was a handful of people that Trump put in his administration that I wasn't thrilled with. Howard Lutnick was at the top of that list. Literally was the top of that list. Next was Pam Bondi. That's another one that needs to go. Hey, brother, what's up, Ryan? Yep, we are still kicking. I'm like a cockroach. Not even nuclear war will get rid of me. You know, and I don't like that. I don't know that he's a part of the administration, but Rupert Murdoch. I don't know if he's actually a part of the administration or not, but not a fan of his either. So, some of those folks, he needs to get out of there. Kristi Noem, I was kind of undecided on, but after hearing her and her talking about Real ID, not write her off as well. Write her off as well. And I'm glad to see. I mean, yeah, you got people like Pinball Preparedness that'll roll over. He'll roll over his own mother, I guarantee he would, for an extra piece of bread. No doubt in my mind he would. That's the kind of guy he is. You have to be a lifelong desk jockey in order to speak the way that he did about Real ID. He is all for it. He thinks it's great. I don't know. Oh, Kenneth Patrica, Pinball Preparedness. Kenneth's his name. He loves people to know his name. Call him by name. He loves it. Kenneth Patrica. And I guess it's pronounced that way. I could have the pronunciation of the last name wrong. I don't know. But he's all for Real ID. He thinks it's a swell idea. And ever since before it was brought into law from Congress, I was raising hell. And I wasn't the only one. Luke Radowski of We Are Change, he played a video clip earlier, way back, when Ron Paul was raising hell about it. Way, 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 way back. I was raising hell at the same time. Because I knew what the Real ID was. Because I saw that it wasn't just the United States doing it. There were several other nations doing it as well. And they didn't pass it off as a national ID, but anybody with two brain cells to rub together realized it was a national ID. However, I was watching all these other nations doing the same thing, and considering that you have to use it to get on a plane, guess what? I knew it was an international ID. So good job, Kenneth, a.k.a. Pinball. You're a smart feller there. Drive that desk a little further. You might figure out a thing or two. No good. And Kristi Noem's up there cheerleading for it. So I'm glad it's getting called out. Ron Paul once again called it out. As well as We Are Change and many, many, countless others have called it out. Because we know what it is. We know what it's about. We didn't sit behind a desk all our lives. I know I'm rough on little Kenny. Poor guy. But it's insane. It is insane. I am concerned. I'm becoming more and more concerned about the future of this country as time goes by. Now, I'll tell you what, I was very hopeful. Election night, man, I was giddy like a teenager on his first date. I thought, great. Well, and part of that was just relief, simply because Camel Toe didn't get in. I mean, we gotta admit that. But as this train is chugging along, I don't think the American people got what they voted for. I've said it a few times. I think we've been bait and switched. I was very suspicious of it the first term that he was in. Now I'm getting really certain of it. So hang on. I think that we've got a lot of trials, and I'm not the channel to fearmonger and all that stuff. But I'm just going to say hang on. By the way, that video, I did finish. The video that I teased everybody with last night, it is finished. It's over there on Militant, Geek, Preparedness. And I think it turned out fairly well. It definitely got out the message that I wanted it to get out. So anyway, let's switch up a little bit. Talk about some more I told you so stuff. I can't help it. I'm just doing the news. Oh, well, hang on. Time out. Let me come back. Howdy, Miss Midwest Silver. Well, I don't know. And I'm going to be honest, the only thing I knew, and you actually gave me a name, and I am going to grab that name real quick, because I had a friend of mine ask me if I heard something about that, and they said that they thought they saw something on Facebook, but then it was just like it was gone that quick. And she had mentioned the last name, and I mean, that's what it sounded like, but she didn't know the spelling of it or anything else. So I don't know. I mean, you've actually given me more info, and I do absolutely appreciate that. We shall look into that. Now, I've got kind of something else to pose back to you, Midwest Silver. In Highland, was it yesterday or day before, one of the two, apparently there was a individual that took their own life. Do you know if that's the same individual? I have no idea. I just know that that's really messed up. So yeah, I did hear about it, but I didn't have an actual name. And the person that told me that they actually had, I can't say that. That would give away who it is that told me. I don't want to do that. Okay, right on. I was just curious on that because, you know, sometimes the two go together. But no, I mean, I had a friend ask me about it. That was the first I heard of it, her asking me about it. And then this is the second that I'm hearing of it. And you actually had the name for me. So, my friend thought, like I said, she thought that she saw something posted on Facebook, but she didn't know where, and she couldn't find it again. So, oh, wow. Okay, parents aren't pressing charges. Well, that's messed up. That is absolutely messed up. Well, that's interesting. Beyond interesting. And I think it's obviously being hidden and kind of covered up. That's not cool. That is not cool at all. I will figure out a way. I will figure out a way to make sure that this doesn't go unnoticed. You can be assured of that. So, and I'll say the name here because I haven't done that. I guess the last name is pronounced Reckman. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But these accusations are made towards a Derek Reckman. So, staff at the Highland school system. That's just crazy, though. You know, Triad just had a driver's ed teacher that got in trouble for his activities with students, and then we had a young man here in Highland that just got arrested for child pornography, and I'm sure you know about that one. And Bo Emming was his name, and I make sure that these names are known because for some reason there is a subset of the population that likes to hide this stuff. And that is the last thing that anybody needs, because the more it's hidden, the more that they are enabling them to continue to do it. And that's just absolute nonsense. I will say that there are a lot of people that get charges of in this direction. I'm not talking about like the pornography stuff, but I am talking about And I've got a brother. I am talking about people that are involved in a very consensual relationship. Everything's consensual. And then something happens. And in many cases, it's the parent of the underage child that goes after. Usually it's a revenge type of thing. And it happened to my brother. So I know that it's one of those things to where you do really got to know the story. But when you're working as staff at a school system, there is no excuse for that one. So, and then there's no excuse for child pornography at all. Not even a little bit. So yeah, I will make sure that this isn't just shoved under the rug. That's for sure. So I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Since the 8th grade. Wow. Wow. That's just unbelievable. That is just unbelievable. I'm kind of assuming, that's all I can do, I'm kind of assuming that the parents knew while it was happening. I have to assume that. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Let's see. Okay, let me go on with the other stories so I don't run over. I've got a lot of stuff to do yet before I go to bed. I'm going to be tired tomorrow. Got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to actually make a video of doing it. I got a jack I need to work on. I got to tear a jack apart, floor jack, and get it all pulled apart, get the seals out of it so I can measure everything, know what kind of seals need ordered. And I'm going to be resealing a floor jack. So I'm going to make a video of that process. That video, the making of it, starts tomorrow. And it'll finish whenever I get the seals and slap it all back together. But on the next couple of days, I've got a brake job I've got to do on a Ford Focus. And, yeah, my happy place, fixing stuff. But anyway, back to the news. I'm not news. I hope I'm not news. Strong solar storm heads to Earth. Here's what to know about the Northern Lights. They're pretty. They're pretty. You look up and go, ooh, ah. But there's more to it than that. I have been reporting on this endlessly. And we have been having a lot of solar storms in the lower latitudes. And here we go again. Once again. And it says here, the sun earlier this week burped out huge bursts of energy called a coronal mass ejection, leading space weather forecasters to issue a geomagnetic storm watch. Northern lights were forecast in Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, parts of Idaho, Wyoming, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, New York, and Pennsylvania. That's a lot of states. And I don't know, you go back even 10 years, but go back beyond that, 20 years, 30 years. 20, 30 years ago, it was pretty much unheard of. 10 years ago, pretty much unheard of. But not now. Now it's happening on a fairly frequent occasion. And as I've been saying, I've got to say it again, it's part of my job here. This is because of the weakening magnetosphere. It will continue to weaken. We will continue to have more and more storms that are viewable from even more and more southern latitudes. the weather, the storms in the weather, whether it be snowstorms, tornadic storms, earthquakes, all of this stuff is going to be increased. And it's going to exponentially increase as time goes on. This is something I've expected for over 2 decades. So I will report on it when it happens again, and as things progress. Do remember that there is a website that you can go to now if they didn't take it back down. Doesn't look like it's taken back down. There we go. It's loading up. It's right on the NOAA website. So, right there on their site. It's not something from some conspiracy theory site. The Historical Magnetic Declination Viewer. And that will show you just how much the North Pole has moved. Obviously, this is Russia, and the North Pole has moved. Usually around 1980 is when I take this little thing up to, so you can see it. Let me go back a little bit, and I'm just going to click play. Let me bring it up a little bigger for you, and just watch it. Watch how fast it accelerates towards Russia. It's going to pick up in the 80s, the 90s, and then it's going to take off around 2000, and boom. That's the North Pole. And I know that there's people that will say, oh, well, it's always kind of danced around the North. Well, yeah, but right around here, all the way back to 1590, we hit play, and this is what it did, starting in 1590. And it did this all the way up and till I guess it was about, the 70s before it kind of started to get a little odd. But you'll see it dancing around because that's what it's done ever since we started recording it. It's just kind of danced around, but it's always stayed up in the same general area. But then all of a sudden, you get around 1890, and it starts heading towards Russia. Well, there's a little stop there. And then early 1900s, it's a steady direction towards Russia. And then it just accelerates and boom. That, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the same things. Well, that's actually the same thing that is causing you to be able to see the northern lights at lower latitudes. And it is causing the changes in the weather, the earthquakes. Earthquakes we haven't really seen. We're starting to see quite a bit of a difference in the frequency of them, but not so much in the severity of them. I know that there was just a very serious earthquake. Serious earthquakes do happen from time to time, but I expect to see a frequency change in the earthquakes as well. Serious earthquakes. We're talking 7, 8s, and Father forbid me say 9s. So, expect it. Expect it. I don't know what else to say on it. I've been beating that dead horse for years. Ever since I started this channel. That was one of the reasons I started the channel. Okay, I mentioned that banks deregulated again. This is insanity. Judge scraps U.S. rule capping credit card late fees at $8. They are all kind of interlinked, Midwest Silver. I don't know if you know of a channel. The guy went by Suspicious Observers for years. Now he's going by, I think it is Space Weather News. Ben Davidson's his name. And he does an incredible job of tracking it. He had actually made an app, or was part of making the app. I don't know that he actually coded it. I think somebody else coded it, and he just kind of told them what they needed to code, more or less. But he actually had made an earthquake prediction app. and he connects them to the things like the coronal holes, for example, and the sunspots and the CMEs. So they're all interconnected. And his app, I don't know what it's called anymore. He's no longer doing anything with the app, but as far as I know, the app is still available. And as far as I know, it's still fairly accurate at making predictions. Astonishingly accurate, actually. So I would definitely look into that if you're interested in that kind of stuff. I don't think it's the storms causing the earthquakes. I think it's the effects of the sun, the weakening magnetosphere, and the pole shift that we're under. It's going to get nasty. It is going to get real nasty. So on this deal with the credit card late fees, I was so happy when they started putting limits on credit card companies. Yeah, let me real quick, let me grab you a link to his channel so you've got it. This guy, he has just been an incredible source of information. He's got playlists, his disaster playlist. I know it's getting kind of big now. A lot of videos in it, but it is certainly worth watching. I should be coming up to his morning. He does a video every morning and gives an update. Here we go. There you go. There's a link to his channel. Make sure to subscribe to him. Like I say, he puts out an update every morning, and the guy's on the ball with it. You're welcome. He really is on the ball with it, and he can explain it in way better detail than what I can, because he's done all the legwork, without a doubt. He is an incredible scientist when it comes to the sun. So yeah, this credit card thing, these late fees, I can't believe that they're letting them go crazy again with it. I don't know what to tell folks. We don't have credit cards. That's why. Unfortunately, when you get involved in debt, it can be a nightmare to get out of. And so we stay away from debt as much as we can. Got no loans, got no, nothing. We just got our cost of living, and that's it. So I know not everybody can do that. I understand that, and I respect that. I would imagine that it's very hard for a lot of people to live debt-free. I mean, how many people can go just pay their house off, you know what I mean, or their car? I get it. And to be honest, if we could be buying a house, I'd be all for it. But I don't think either of us would be even tempted to have a credit card. I know I'm not. I know Jen's not. So, but yeah, I would be willing to take on a mortgage payment to have my own home, without a doubt, in a heartbeat. So, also in the news, and this one's important, especially if you've got little uns at home, or know somebody that's got little uns at home. Target baby food is recalled over lead contamination. So, absolutely insane. It's more than 25,000 packages. Product may contain elevated levels of lead. What is lead doing anywhere near baby food? That's my big question. Apparently, it's the Target store brand. It says they issued the recall in March for Target's Good and Gather baby pea, zucchini, kale, and thyme vegetable puree. Sounds like goodness. Sold in 4-ounce tubs. The packages include the lot number 4167 with a best buy date of December 7 and lot number 4169 with a best buy date of December 9. I wonder what happened to lot number 4168. Let's see. It says consumers should not feed babies the products. You think? I mean, doesn't every child have a healthy diet of lead paint chips or something? It's insane. It says the recall is listed as Class 2, which means the products are unlikely to cause serious harm, but still have the potential to result in temporary or reversible problems. Temporary or reversible problems. Let me let you in on something. Once lead goes into the body, it stays in the body. Heavy metals don't leave your body. They accumulate in the brain. So, very interesting. It goes on to say there is no safe level of exposure to lead for children. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, exposure to the heavy metal can cause developmental and cognitive problems. But, result in temporary and reversible problems. Right. So be careful with these, folks. I mean, March. We're halfway through April. We're just now hearing about this. Insane. And, just for a pun, insane in the membrane. Because that's where the lead's going. Alright. Let's see, what time is it? Ooh. Well, I'm glad my computer don't turn into a pumpkin at 9 o'clock, because I think we're going to miss the dot by a little bit, but that's okay. I will run through these. Washington frustrated with European leaders, says Vance. Says Washington is frustrated by the reluctance, can't even talk now, of its European allies to respond to their voters on critical issues such as immigration. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has stated in an interview with the British website Unheard, published on Tuesday. He said this sentiment is shared by the entire administration of President Donald Trump. And he's quoted here saying, European populations keep on crying out for more sensible economic and migration policies, and the leaders of Europe keep on going through these elections and keep on offering the European peoples the opposite of what they seem to have voted for, Vance explained. He warned that the politicians who disregard the will of the people risk ruining the entire democratic project of the West. I wonder if he's including not getting the Epstein files in their entirety unredacted. I wonder if he's talking about that too. I mean, we did get quite a bit of JFK stuff thus far, but there's a whole lot of stuff that we asked about. Oh, I don't know. Some little things like all of the 9/11 information, all of that. And let me tell you what, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are really dragging their feet on that stuff. So I hope that Mr. Vance is looking a little inward too. So, because I know a lot of things that the people voted for, we're not seeing yet. And we got all this craziness going on in government. And we haven't seen a single member of government or former member of government get the bracelets. But I will remind people, if you go to the WatchmanNews.com, and I'll show you me go to it so that you see this. It's going to scroll you down. So I'm going to go to the WatchmanNews.com, and when the page loads, it's going to just kind of scroll you down. So it happens. I can't do nothing to prevent it. It's because of the PDF files. So you can either click the link here and download the file, or you can read it right on the website on the WatchmanNews.com, right on the homepage. And it's the COVID-19 investigation request lawsuits. Some very good stuff in these lawsuits. And they're doing exactly as I said that they should be doing right after Biden made his big pardon thing, started pardoning Fauci and everybody, including his brother. I mean, insane. I had said at that time, well, that's a federal thing. And that if they still wanted to get these people, they just need to go after them on the state level. And that's what it looks like they're doing. So you can see the information from Louisiana. Not sure on, that's nationwide. Missouri here, Texas, Oklahoma, and then it's about a firefighter, and Florida. So I don't know if there's any new ones added since I put this up, but it is there to read at your leisure. Okay. I've got 4 more articles. Gonna kind of run through them a little quickly if I can. EU delays Russian energy withdrawal plan, says Financial Times. Because they don't have the energy themselves to be able to fill the need. And with all their crazy policies, especially with their green idiocy over there, their Paris Climate Agreement and all that nonsense, they aren't going to be able to supply themselves with enough energy. So, but they're delaying the withdrawal plan. And that's, they're saying, because of discussions over the future of the Nord Stream pipeline. So we'll see how that turns out. Ukraine simplifies recruitment of mercenaries. So they're making it easier. Now they would have probably accepted the dumbass that attempted to assassinate Trump the second time. Because he was trying. That said, the Ukrainian government has made a new attempt to recruit more foreign mercenaries for its army, authorizing officials to arrange and pay for transportation, food, and accommodation, according to lawmakers. So, let your friendly or not so friendly, especially the not so friendly leftists, let them know. Maybe you can give them an application, give them a reference, right? Hey, I know that there's a lot of folks out there that would be more than happy to give references. They wouldn't even have to know them, right? Wouldn't. In fact, I'm one of them. I don't even have to know you. If you need a reference to put on your Ukrainian mercenary application, come to me. I will be your reference. I got no problem with doing that. No problem with doing that. I'll even shake your hand before you leave. Zelensky moves to delay election again. So, it really doesn't sound to me like he's interested in peace. Really doesn't. And I don't know what's going on with Putin. I have no idea. I know Trump made that statement that he didn't think that Putin was looking for peace either. So, I don't really see that from sitting in my chair, but I don't get the same kind of briefings that Trump gets. So, from what I see Putin making retaliatory strikes. That's what I see. But again, I'm not sitting in the room when Trump gets his briefings, so I'm sure there are many details that I am totally clueless about in that situation. And 6 minutes left and 1 article left. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because it's just as much as nonsense as what Zelensky is. WHO rehearses deadly mammoth pox outbreak, says Telegraph. Now, it's strictly coincidence that the same company that, been causing all the news about this whole dire wolf brought back from extinction thing, which isn't quite a true statement. They also have been playing with mice and woolly mammoths because I guess labradoodles wasn't enough. I don't know. But they've been playing with mice and woolly mammoths. And now the WHO is practicing simulated outbreaks of a fictional virus that they call mammoth pox. I'm just, hey. And it's also interesting that they found a perfectly preserved woolly mammoth that was up north. It was so perfectly preserved that it still had undigested food in its stomach. That tells me a couple of things. Number one, that got damn cold damn fast. And there's not too many situations and scenarios where that could happen. And I'll refer you back to Pole Shift on that. Also, it's a known fact that there are so many different diseases and types of bacteria and stuff like that that we've never even came across yet. So I'm wondering if they didn't find something, I don't know, something you might call a mammoth pox, that was in the blood possibly of that perfectly preserved woolly mammoth. I'm speculating that. I don't know anything. But, my sphincter gets a little tighter whenever I see stuff like this. Just a little bit, not a lot. I mean, I'll still be able to fart. Trust me. Chilly night won't be changed. But it might be a little squeakier. But, oh my goodness. So, I'm surprised I haven't been huffed by the dog yet. I haven't heard a huff since I started the show. That is highly unusual. And usually it's like right after the show starts, I get one huff. That's one strike against me. And then usually when I crack my first joke, that's an instant second huff. And no, I've just been going at it, and she's quiet over there, so she might be mad because we're adjusting our sleep fabric. I don't know. I'm making kind of stuff up at this point, but tonight we are getting rid of our binky. No, we throughout the winter we have this big thick comforter. I've never seen a comforter this warm in my life. Well, I did have one that was as warm as this one. This thing is just incredibly warm and thick and comfy. I love it. But it's way too much when it gets warmer. So we put it away and we're breaking out the regular sheets. So she could be a little miffed at us for that. So, but I don't even know if she knows yet. She'll be finding out soon. We'll definitely get huffed for that. Anyway, I am going to get out of here, folks, so I can get a few things finished before I go to bed, including get all the stuff on the bed, the sheets and all that. Fun. And I got to make some tea and got a couple other things I got to do. And then tomorrow morning, as soon as it's bearable to go out, not too cool, I will get out there and get started on that jack. And gonna leave Jill alone though. But gonna get started on that jack and get it pulled apart. And I will see you all tomorrow night. As long as I don't chop my head off working on a floor jack. That sounds fun. Anyway, now I've worked on so many of them I can do it in my sleep. Alright folks, I hope you all have a good night. I hope you are blessed tonight, and God willing, I will see you all tomorrow. With that, shalom.